Utah State head coach Jerrod Calhoun. Coach, we'll just start with the opening statement on the game.
Yeah, proud of our guys' second half effort. We haven't played great basketball since the break. Obviously at Fresno, sloppy. Tonight, I'm not sure what defense that was in the first half, but I think what gets lost is how well San Jose State played. They're a very, very hard team to play against. They control tempo. They have good guards. They've got bigs that can pick and pop and shoot. So I felt like the first half we were in rotations. I thought our adjustments were really good, and I thought, we got great effort from our bench. That was the third biggest key that I had coming into this game was, win with our depth. And obviously we saw Elijah Perryman just continues to grow up. I think the sky's the limit for him. And I thought Carson Templin and Gary were absolutely flying around and played a physical second half.
Yeah, you're down by 7 there, I think with just under 17 minutes left, and then I think you outscored 44-19 after that point. After you hadn't been able to get a run going, I think you only had that 6-0 run right at the end of the first half.
Yeah, it was, I thought the first half our offense carried us. I thought the second half the defense, the last 15 minutes of the game carried us. But that's the sign of a really good team. Win with a lot of different ways, offense, defense. 3 kids off your bench step up, but we've got to get back the prep that we had, before the break leading into Colorado State. So we're actually going to give them off tomorrow, try something totally different with 5 days off, and then we just went 8 straight days of basketball. So I think that break is really weird. Some of these scores have been crazy, so I think we need fresh legs, fresh minds. Certainly the coaches will be in here tonight and tomorrow. But Mason had battled a little sickness. We had a little of that going too, but there's no excuses.
Coach, you kind of already brought it up, but just that second half lineup, Perriman with the 2 other guards, and then that big man pairing of Carson and Gary. I think you guys were around like a plus 20 with that lineup in the second half. Just what were some things that stood out with that lineup, and is that something we see more of in the future?
Yeah, I think this team can do a lot of different things. When guys aren't playing well or they're not producing, the nice thing is I'm not held hostage, right? I don't have to play guys through their mistakes. So I think they know the sense of urgency when they're in the game, the execution. The first half we went with Colby, really we went with 4 smalls, and we closed Fresno State with 4 smalls. Tonight we closed big, whatever the game presents. I think that's the beauty of basketball. That's the beauty of adjustments. Everybody says are halftime adjustments important. I think they're one of the most important things in basketball. You have to get organized at halftime. We have an offensive room, a defensive room. We're watching film. We're coordinating. And then we got to make those adjustments, and the kids got to adapt and change. And I thought they listened to what we told them. The effort was better, and then the execution was phenomenal.
The 8 turnovers against a good turnover defense. I think 3 of those came in the first 4 minutes of the game. What was able to change there from Fresno State? Yeah,
usually when you get turnovers, it's reading the pick and roll coverage, not getting enough spacing, right? I can't tell you how many read drills we've done in the last 4 days, right? That's just reading defense, training our eyes, working on spacing off ball. We've really put a ton of time into that here recently because, like I said to you guys the other night, it was like going to the dentist. When you have 20 turnovers, it's frustrating. So the number 1 key tonight was ball security, right? Number 2 was team defense. Number 3 was bench energy and just kind of wearing them down. So we hit kind of all those numbers, and our defensive numbers would have been so much better if we just guarded the first 20 minutes.
With Elijah, how much have you seen him, and then that's also Adlin, how much have you seen those 2 grow just since November?
Yeah, they're great. Number 1, they're great kids. Elijah has a great AAU coach that really, really cares deeply about him. He coached Damian Lillard, Team Lillard. They've had great players. When Eric Daniels brought Elijah to the table back in the summer, I saw him play one time, and I said, I want this kid bad. He was my favorite point guard on the circuit. He's 6'2.5", 6'3". He's a good athlete. The vision is incredible. he's just going to get better and better, right? As he matures, he plays better defense, takes care of the ball like tonight, 10 assists, 1 turnover. We probably don't win the game without him. Addie has to really commit to eating, as crazy as that sounds. I can teach him every pick and roll coverage. We can teach him how to guard ball screens. If he doesn't eat, you can only be so good at 6'9", 183. So every day I walk by him and I say 183. What have you eaten today? The kid has got a 7'1" wingspan. He can make threes. He's an unbelievable athlete. His mom is the best. His mom says, literally, do whatever you want with him. She's one of the most supportive parents. Their brother played for Max Bent. That's kind of how we got him. He was a great Division II player at Charleston, the old league I coached in. So, both kids, I think by March, are going to be scary good. And tonight, he should just really just build off of this, and the confidence should be through the roof for Air Force.
There's a stretch about 4 minutes kind of in the middle of the second half where there were about 10 lead changes or ties. Just what did you see from your team? Where it's as close as it got this entire game. Just what do you see from them? Were they able to? Yeah,
once again, the best student section in the country, one of the best venues, if not the best. The spectrum is incredible, and I think Cam Walker and Ike and their team are starting to realize that, how special this basketball program is to this community, to our student body. It was loud. When we finally tied it, we got that goofy whiteboard over there. Would be great if, as we're coming down on offense, maybe we could just get that down a little bit so I don't have to tell Manny, get the board up. That was ED's job last year, and we joke with those guys because, it's like being a play caller. I got to think quick. But I thought our kids really fed off that crowd, Jason. I think it's, you can't take these things for granted. You can't take days for granted, games. Our seniors only have so many of these things left. And the last thing you want to do is lose because you're not sitting down and guarding somebody. But credit to the, not only the herd, but I think on a, Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock to get a sellout. There's not many programs in the country that have this. I think we announced a sellout. I did see some empty seats. I see you back there, Jaden, laughing for the sellout. But I like Cam announcing a sellout. It looks good for recruiting if it was sold out.
Coach, much has been said about sort of the inconsistency from outside shooting this year. But what about a game like tonight where, I think you guys start like 3 for 10, and then seems like once you really establish yourself in the paint is when the shots from outside started to fall. Just what does that sort of say about this group in there?
Yeah, I think you make some really good points today. Sometimes you can get down if you're not making shots, right? So, all you guys do a wonderful job at what you're doing, and, I get a kick out of, the portal when we recruit these kids, and they're 31, 32%. And if you look at their numbers, Colby King's the 166th most efficient player in the country. MJ Collins is the 48th most efficient player in the country. And if you ask these guys, hey, why are you playing so well? It's all confidence, right? Life's about having some confidence, having some swag. I think our staff does a good job putting guys in good positions, playing to their strengths. We're not shooting enough. We're not getting out and running and getting uncontested threes. We're not getting off-ball threes. We have to get more. We should be taking 25 to 28. We got to take what the defense gives us, but I just think in general we're not shooting enough.
Like the half-court offense took a step forward in this game compared to years past. Only 4 points on the fast.
Yeah, we did a lot. We did a lot of offense this week, and it's funny. Like Hout's probably like, well, that's why the defense stunk, or Johnny Hill. I've enjoyed coaching this team, and sometimes you gotta, as a head coach, figure out what the team needs. Like, do we need more offense? Do we need more defense? So then now we spend more time on offense. We get in the locker room at halftime, and they're like, we can't get a stop. So I guess sometimes, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. But we just got to keep plugging with this group because I do think the ceiling is pretty high for the group.
Did the they had one guy who was questionable as the 6'8"
Yeah, he's
I
good.
can't say his name.
Very good player.
But he was out, and then different lineups. Did that kind of impact the way?
Yeah, to be honest with you, Jason, that's a valid point because he's not a three-point shooter. So when you got guys coming off the ball screen, brushing into to threes, those things are hard to guard. And we probably didn't spend enough time guarding brushes. We've got to, against pick and pop bigs, we've got to full rotate sometimes. And I mean, nothing against him. He's a great player. He's getting 12 and 8. But I honestly thought their offense was better with those guys tonight in the game. All right, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Let's go.
Thank you.
Yep.